Welcome to Experiencing the Chakras Anew with AliNICOLE. Wow, and that is me, and also Brenda Lynn. And we're always excited to come and do this particular series because we know it's important for others to learn these different aspects of the chakras and the different dimensions. It's really a new encounter with your energy body. So we're excited to talk about this during these segments. We never know exactly where the conversation is going to go. We're always just present in the moment to allow whatever arises to be kind of the hot topics that we will address and cover. So Brenda Lynn, as always, thanks for being here with me and us doing this podcast series for others to benefit.
Yeah, I always love doing these. The world is increasingly in need of this kind of new level information. And there's so many people that, like massive number of people that are waking up, that are looking for a different way forward, that are looking for a way to reclaim their freedom, their sovereignty. And the chakra system is it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You said it. And being able to reclaim it anew, and even for those who haven't even been aware in terms of what the energy body is, it's exciting that they actually get to come into this newer energy, into this newer experience, and kind of learn about that sort of out the gate. And with all of the health challenges or so that have definitely been going on, even more so in the world now, you would think with all of the advancements, so to speak, that it would be an improvement of the quality of living. But unfortunately, because so many teachings go under the radar, so to speak, even though they're very popular, the masses don't really know about it or really aren't familiar with it or them. But again, it's good when they can hear something of this nature and get introduced even into the newer energy.
Well, and I know that, when I either run live events or attend live events that are in this subject matter area, there's just a massive number of people that are attending. The classes fill up almost instantly because people are just searching for something that's different, something that's higher level, something that that has that higher vibration to it. And people are showing up in droves for this.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. How we branch it out more into, I don't necessarily say the mainstream, but how it starts to increase in terms of the new levels of what needs to be known about this is being able to be in pockets or places where people can get that next level exposure. Because one of the things that I know to be true, even about the basic levels of the chakra system awareness, which are definitely the fundamentals from the ancient teachings, we're finding as things are continuing to progress, that level is no longer enough for the new world experience. And so it is important that even those who don't have any knowledge around the chakra system, the energy body, that yes, we can lay the foundations with the fundamentals from the ancient teachings, but be able to really accelerate them into this newer energy. And so what makes it really exciting is the fact that sometimes, because they don't have the other teachings around it, they don't have to actually be reprogrammed or expanded a certain way. So
well, and the other thing too is the people like myself that have been working with those fundamental levels of the chakras for decades. And I know, I've got a large community around me that have been aware of them. They've been working with them. They worked with them with clients. And for them, they're not enough. For them, they have to start to elevate and so bring in those new dimensions, the new colors, the new, just the new frequencies of the chakras. And, one of the exercises that you and I went through, and I think it was the third eye, where I saw just a number of different, they almost appeared like black holes. They rabbit holes that opened up that just showed me the
The
multi-dimensional
vastness.
aspects
Absolutely. The
of them
vastness.
that have not, you couldn't possibly explore all of those. You have to be very selective on which rabbit hole you choose to
Yeah,
go down.
exactly. Yeah.
But
Which
there's
one's kind of
always
drawing you?
something new out there.
There is.
And
Yes.
I think that in this accelerated energy that we're in, there's new levels opening up every day. So keeping in that flow, keeping just aware of this and leveling up all of your knowledge, your experience is really vital for people to join into this new dimension of energy that we're moving into.
Oh, you said that magnificently, and I agree wholeheartedly. So, with that being said, would you like to set the tone or lay a foundation with the traditional premise of the energy body and the chakra systems and the chakras and the colors and the meanings for those maybe who don't have the knowledge, or some maybe that need to be reminded, and then we could possibly get into some of the newer expanded encountering, with the chakra.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. I've worked with this for 2.5 decades now, I think, around that. And it has been such a powerful tool. Even when I was a corporate leader, I used this. I've used it in every realm of my life. So the energy body itself is just encompasses our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. So every element of our being is accounted for within the energy body. And the chakra system is one of the key components of that energy body. It is where we pull in life force energy from the earth and from the universe that creates us as electromagnetic beings. So the magnetic energy of the earth and the electric energy of the universe come together to really create humanity for what we are, electromagnetic beings. And the way that energy gets into our physical body is through these gateways called chakras. And we've got multiple chakras throughout our body, little ones, bigger ones, but the 7 main chakras that we talk about as being the chakra system are, the first one is at the root. It's right around our tailbone, shooting into the earth and drawing up that magnetic energy. It resonates to the color of red. And it is really that foundational aspect for the rest of the other 6 chakras to be built on. So this is where we create our safety and security, our physical well-being. It's what roots us to the planet. It's what brings in that powerful, charismatic energy that we have. And we start to build everything that we want in this life starts to accumulate within that root chakra. So we say that the root chakra creates the container for everything you want, whether that's health, finances, relationship, the car that you want, the house that you want, all of the things that you want to manifest within your life, you hold within the root chakra. So it's really important that root chakra is strong and healthy and balanced. Then we move up to the sacral chakra, which is right between the pubic bone and the navel. And it resonates to the color of orange. And this is really your emotional center of your body. And it's also where relationships are created. So it's fed by all of our senses, the 5 senses, bring in that data into that chakra so that our body can sort through it. It is where we bring the outside world into our inner reality. And it houses, like I say, it's the emotional center. So all of your contracting emotions and your expanding emotions are all processed through that second chakra. When we move up to the 3rd chakra, which is really just below just in the solar plex area, so just below the breastbone. And I always remember it because it resonates to the color of yellow. And it is our power center. So it's easy to remember that one because it's the sun. The sun is the center of the universe. This is the center of our energy body, of who we are, who we've come here to be. And it's where we find our truth, where we, so much of life, people are telling us to be this or to be that. And they're pulling us away from our center, from the truth of who we are. And that truth lives within that solar plex chakra. It's also where we start to define ourselves, so that in the fourth chakra, when we move up into the heart, into the cardiac plexus, into the heart, right in the center of the chest, that's where we find the balance of giving and receiving love. But it all starts with self-love. You can't love yourself if you don't know who you are, if you're not true to your purpose, to your passions, to all of those things that are uniquely you, which live in that solar plexus chakra. Once that's defined, it's so much easier to fall in love with who you are. I can't tell you how many people I work with. I can barely think of anybody who doesn't have some issue with themselves that they obsess over, whether it's their weight, or they don't have hair, or they're underweight, they're overweight, there's some aspect of themselves that they don't like, and they focus on that, and they can't possibly fall in love with themselves when that's the obsession. So when you're really comfortable with who you are and who you came here to be, it's so much easier to fall in love with yourself. And when you're in love with yourself, it's so much easier to go out and love other people and bring other external love into your being. So that's the bridge of the chakra system in the solar plexus, or in the heart chakra, the heart plexus, the heart chakra, is really the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. And it's what creates balance in your life, the balance between giving and taking, loving and being loved. Giving and receiving, I should say, not taking, giving and receiving, loving and being loved, the balance between the physical reality and the spiritual reality. All of that takes place in the heart chakra. And that brings us up into what
those are more resonates to the color green and pink.
Oh yeah, it does. And sometimes pink. Sometimes people come into that chakra, but yes, it is. And so we talk about the lower chakra system being more of the physical chakras, and the upper chakras being the spiritual chakras, and the heart is the bridge between those two. So we move up into the throat chakra, and that's really our communication center. It's where we speak and hear the truth. So both the speaking side and the hearing side, and the heart brings those into balance. It's also, once you fall in love with yourself, it's so much easier to speak authentically, to speak your truth. Nobody can throw you off balance when you've got that solid foundation in the heart chakra. And it processes sound. So it's the tone of your voice. It's some of the things that will heal that are tones, that are singing, that are, verbalizing, the power of verbalizing your thoughts, all bring that throat chakra into balance. And then we move up into the third eye chakra, which is that center of where we hold intuition and we hold our imagination. All of those things live there. We see way beyond what the physical eyes can see. And within that chakra, we're able to process what we see and make sense of it. So it's that powerful first connection really to the higher sources of wisdom, of information, of creating, understanding the avatars that we've created within our life, using those to expand our world. And then finally, we move up into the, and that one resonates to the color of indigo, which is, some people don't know that color. It's a very, very dark, almost purpley blue. And then we move up into the crown chakra, which is, again, it brings in two different frequencies of light. One is that violet energy, very strong healing energy, and the other one is that white light energy from the universe, which encompasses, if you understand light, white light actually encompasses every other color of light. So it is our connection to all that is, and it kind of, the chakra shoots up into the universe. It pulls in the wisdom from the angelic realms, from the higher realm of spirit, of source, of creator, whatever that language is that you use. And it is that all-knowing center. So if you're ever looking for an answer to a question, if you can open that chakra and draw in that information, everything that you ever wanted to know is available.
Is available.
So that's the summary.
Well, thank you. You always so magnificently break those down. I always love hearing you go there. I did want to revisit the throat chakra just to provide the color.
I do. I missed that. It's about the color of my shirt.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too. It's like, yes, it is. It's the color of her shirt, for sure. Kind of that turquoise aqua type of color.
Right.
that you mainly see that in that shade of bluish green type of,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, love that. Yeah, it's
So thanks for revisiting that, because I
oh,
hadn't thought of that.
you're more than welcome. Just wanted to, just clarify those, for the audience. And as I mentioned, I always love your um, breakdowns of the chakras. I never grow tired of,
Yeah.
of
One thing
listening.
I'll add too, now that we're talking about the throat chakra, is when we talked about the sacral chakra, about bringing all the senses in,
Yes.
all the outside world into our
Growth
inner
in.
world.
Yes.
It is through the throat chakra that we actually bring our inner world out to the outside
Yes.
world. So
Absolutely.
they work very well.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for saying that too. Because it's so important even for those fundamentals to come forth, because as we expand even into having new encounters with the understanding of the chakra system, it just really allows people, even in the newer dimensions, to expand it, and also to know that there are differences in each realm, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
what it means in the first dimension is not necessarily what it means in the second, third, fourth, and all these different ones. And for so long, we've played just in the basic realm of knowledge of those foundations. But as we continue to expand, this is where individuals get to now have this new encounter. And even for those, again, who are fresh to this, who are new, are still having a new encounter, even with the fundamentals that are laid. And the reason why that's happening is because the newer energy that's expressed through the throat, through the throat chakra, the communication, just like what you did. You've been working with, as you said, for about 2.5 decades in the foundations. But because you've learned in the newer energy now, even when you communicate the traditional frameworks and premise of the chakras, those foundations, it's coming through a new frequency. And and so that's what's so exciting. So it feels like a theme that I guess we can sort of run with, in a sense, for this particular segment, is basically about that new encountering experience right where you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And
so critical. And thank
go
you for
ahead.
saying that, AliNICOLE, because so many people shy away from this, because it is, for many people, it is new and strange knowledge.
Yes, right.
And what they have to know is it doesn't matter where you are. It's a launch pad. You just take that one step forward. It's that courage energy to move one step into an unknown, into the unknown. And then the whole universe opens up to you.
Right.
But it doesn't matter where you're at, because that energy will meet you where you're at, and you will be taken on a journey that is just perfect for you and where you're at with this.
You're absolutely right. Yes. And on the note of being courageous, in a sense, and being just okay with where you are, but knowing that expansion is always taking place. And there's always the invitation to expand so that you can evolve, because it's very difficult for evolution to take place where there is no expansion. And the expansion starts in the mind. And I'm not sure who said it. It could have been Einstein or so, but who has the quote in terms of, once the mind has expanded a certain way, it can't like go back to where it was, or so. I can't remember who said
I think
that.
there is I love Einstein. He's got such
but
powerful quotes. So it's probably one of his.
It probably was, or so.
It's as simple as you can't unknow something.
Yeah, right.
You can't unlearn something. Once you've been exposed to it and your body recognizes it as the truth, even if the mind tries to filter it out, the body, now I'm getting shivers. The body recognizes it as the truth, and it will register in your energy body.
Yes, right.
And you can't unknow that stuff.
No, no, even if you do, like you said, try to shade it out or be in resistance to it. But the thing about it is most people will with even that awareness, that's where most people will say, well, I don't want to know, because
Yeah.
then if I know it, then I'm accountable to it. And the thing about it is, with the energy body, it's in you regardless, whether it's like almost like, okay, you have a heart and lungs and all these different aspects that make up, your human anatomy, so to speak. And it's there, but even if you try to deny that it is, it doesn't change the fact that it is. So
Yeah.
even the lack of knowledge or so about the energy body doesn't change that the energy body is there,
Is there?
and how important it is and vital
Yeah.
to your entire experience.
And I when I'm talking to people, I equate it to gravity. You can
Yes.
deny that gravity exists. You could say, I don't believe in gravity. I don't think it's real. You're still stuck on the planet. You're still stuck here, whether you like it or not. Gravity
Right.
is still at work with you. And that's what you're getting at is the
Yes,
energy body
law.
is, you've got your energy body, you've got your chakras. You're responsible for the health of them. You can
Right.
dictate the health of the chakras, the balance of them, and that will then create the way your life unfolds for you. But
Yes.
you've still got those chakras there, and you're
It's
responsible for
right.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. You are responsible for them.
Yeah.
And that right there invites this new encounter, because you really can look at the new encounter with your energy body and with your chakra system. It really is a new encounter with yourself. It really is a new encounter with source, your source connection. And so when we look at the whole of everything, it's just a new encounter with the whole life experience. And as you mentioned before, in terms of how even with the root chakra is drawing in, or our energy body is drawing in the life force energy, which keeps us going. It's what aligns us.
Yeah.
And so we want to have a new encounter with life itself, but we can start with having that new encounter with the chakra system. So for those of you who are very familiar with the chakra system and maybe have been doing work with it, or that is your work, it is your time to have a new encounter. As Brenda Lynn was mentioning, that she had been doing this work for 2.5 decades. And then she started doing work with me, and we started collaborating on many different things. And she, as a seasoned, as we could say, veteran in the chakra realm, started having her new encounter with the chakra.
And I can't tell you how profound that was, AliNICOLE. How much the world has opened up for me, the new
Yes.
knowledge that I've gained, and how
Yes.
that just expands. It
Yes.
expands who I am and accelerates my evolution, my own personal
Absolutely.
evolution. So thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for your courageousness and willingness. And
Yeah.
I just love the works that we do together, and what we facilitate, and how they complement each other very well. And being able to provide these types of unique experiences, for others, so that they can really have a holistic, optimum type of framework to work from. And it gives wisdom and insight to those who aren't very familiar with this whole spectrum, is now they can
Yeah.
start to understand maybe why some things are off in their lives, and not having knowledge about this precious energy body that we have.
Yeah. And I do want to reiterate that I do understand that it takes courage for people to
Yes.
step into the unknown like that.
Yeah.
And I just want to let them know it's safe. You're
It
very well protected
absolutely
in
is.
these realms, is very safe. And once you take that first step, there's no going back. So
Oh, you're absolutely right. And it's best to engage it and take the invitation than to actually be forced into
yeah,
it.
things get
Where
very uncomfortable when you
I
resist,
know.
resist, resist, because humanity has to evolve. There's just no,
Exactly,
there's no
right.
choice. Your choice is when and
Evolve or
how you
evaporate.
evolve,
Mhm.
but not if you evolve, right?
Exactly, right. And the way that you can evolve with ease
Yeah,
versus facing possible, um, evaporation, so to speak. And what that means is that we do have to progress. It's not a fear-based type of frequency. It puts us in the reality of our truth. And so when
yes,
we enter into that realm of understanding, that level of awareness of this is what is true for me, and in order to know myself wholly from a holistic perspective, is the exploration of the energy body
absolutely.
allows you to go on that adventure that connects you to your expanded self.
Absolutely. And, so much of the stress, anxiety, overwhelm that is, at epidemic levels on our
yes,
planet comes right down to people not knowing who they are and who they came here to be. When they know that, when they claim that, life isn't overwhelming. It isn't scary. It just starts to flow.
it really does. It really does. And it is important, going back to what you're mentioning earlier about the responsibility around this, is
Yeah.
because, even the Bible says that people perish for a lack of knowledge. And so,
Mm,
and I like to kind of expand that to say that it is not so much of perishing for a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of applied knowledge, just like how there's the statement that knowledge is power. Well, knowledge is knowledge. What makes knowledge powerful is when it's applied. Because
absolutely.
people
Great
actually,
distinction.
thank you, people actually can be aware of something, but are they actually, applying it? And it is still, even in the biblical principles where it talks about you must not only be a hearer of the word, you must be a doer. And
Ah,
so being able to understand that the responsibility is to be able to, yes, get the knowledge, but then you have to do something else. They say faith without works is dead. You have to have both. So just like how we're sharing wisdom and knowledge and making people aware, but awareness alone is not enough. Expanded awareness alone is not enough. Next level now and next level comprehension alone is not enough. It's going to be what you actually do to now apply this and to start doing your own research on another level. Of course, Brenda Lynn and I, we have multiple resources and trainings and things, and we will have that information within the description, so that you can avail yourself, to that. The only thing that we can do is make it available and allow you to know about that. And then, of course, it's up to you in the level of participation. But it's really important that in terms of taking action on your entire well-being and understanding how this not only just kind of resets you, but it realigns like your entire reality when you actually start to live from this expanded knowledge of what you possess within you. I feel
And
like
AliNICOLE, when I started this work
yeah.
2.5 centuries ago, or 2.5 decades ago,
Yes, centuries. Oh, wow.
maybe it
Yes.
was centuries, who knows?
Bringing other
Um,
lifetimes in here, huh? Yeah.
there was not a lot of support out there. Like I
Right.
really had to stumble my way through
Yeah. Yeah.
myself. And I just want people to know that we are here to guide you, whatever
Yes.
questions come up, whatever, like,
Mm.
what direction do I go now? That's what we're here for. The courses will give them the information, the knowledge, but
Yes.
how they apply that. And I love that distinction that you made, but how they apply that. Sometimes people run into a roadblock and they don't
Yes.
know how to get by that. That's what we're here for,
Yes. Right. Right.
is to
And
offer guidance as people
a-
evolve. Yeah.
absolutely. And be able to make your roadblocks resourceful for yourself, because
Yeah.
sometimes we run up against something and it actually is another invitation to expand something else. But
Yeah.
again, without the expanded guidance, then there would not be the knowledge base, as you mentioned, around that, and people could potentially stay stuck in areas that it's not really a roadblock. It's a reservoir that is ready to be explored. And that's what health challenges also are, is they are opportunities actually to explore another part of you. And there's messaging within that experience that's containing some vital information as it relates to your expanded purpose. And sometimes it doesn't mean that, okay, I'm going to heal this, I'm called to be a healer, so to speak. But it could be that it is pointing you in a different direction, or you are gaining the knowledge and the wisdom through the experience to be able to share it with other people. You could possibly publish a book, or even if not, you're just able to be an agent of change. Something I talk about in one of my works about the healer next door, that that sometimes you are that person who is able to be a healing balm to someone by giving them the information or pointing them, connecting them to a higher level of truth that's going to help improve the optimum well-beingness of their entire life.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point. It used to be that to be an expert in something, you had to have multiple degrees and this and that and the other thing. People are experts in their life right now.
Absolutely.
And their life experience is relevant to, because of the interconnectedness of all people, their life experience that they are now an expert on is relevant to some other person.
Absolutely. Right.
And they don't have to have a university degree in their life or in, overcoming this or dealing with that or moving into the chakra realm. You don't have to have years and years and years and years of experience or university degrees. You just have to be one step or two steps ahead of somebody who's coming up behind you. Then you become an expert. Then you become a qualified guide for that person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that way everybody will, as we evolve, everybody will be a guide to somebody.
Absolutely. And it's very important for that to continue to be one of the ways that leadership on multiple levels continues to expand, and that people see themselves differently. So this, again, going back to having this new encounter. So do you see how the expansion is taking place when we're talking about the energy body and having a new encounter, but yet it's giving people an opportunity to have a new encounter with every element and aspect of their lives?
Absolutely. Their health, their finances, their relationships, their joy, their peace. How do you step into that realm of joy? How do you step into that realm of love? Like, that's all a part of this experience.
Yes, it is. And, on the note of part of this experience, I'm feeling guided just briefly to enter into a new dimension. And of course, you always, are the great demonstrationalist of this. I love when these impromptu type of experiences happen.
Well, so do I, because I never know what you're going to do.
No, you have no clue. And I never know what I'm going to say either. It's just, being guided in the moment. But I am feeling the guidance to bring in some of the new dimension energy because, we've been talking, you laid a nice foundation in terms of the traditional premise. But to now be able to actually give people an experience, especially those maybe who haven't listened to other segments of this podcast series, which I encourage you to do so. And there'll be the playlist link below in the description. But I think it would be good to touch into another dimension and also how other people can see that it is a very safe space. It is a very safe
space. Yeah.
So I'm feeling that it's just one chakra, and maybe a companion energy may come in, but I'm feeling it's just one new encounter. So Brenda Lynn, let me be present with you. Before I speak it, is there a chakra coming up for you?
If there's one, it's the heart.
That's yes. And I'm so glad I did not say it because that was what was jumping out, right? And
Yeah.
I just said, okay, well, for me to have even more confirmation and clarity, let me not speak what is actually
Right.
coming up. And the heart was it. So good.
Awesome.
So yeah, so allow me, I'm going to get present just with your vibrational countenance. And then also the collective energy of everyone who's tuning in, that the frequency of their heart chakra would be in the same calibration. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going to invite everyone to take a nice deep belly breath, please. All right. So Brenda Lynn, I'm going to have you to actually tap in your heart center 3 times. Give it 3 nice thumps. Okay. So what's coming up actually is the call to well-being, which is interesting because I have a whole work around this. So I'm being present. So, and actually when you thump in your chest bone there, right in the heart plexus, it actually is stimulating the thymus gland energy as well.
Yeah.
So it's promoting more expansive well-beingness. And so in being present, within this, what's actually coming up is the 6th realm. So we're going to be present in the 6th dimension of your heart chakra. So give me just a moment as I'm present for the guidance of entering in to this dimension here. It's very fun energy actually that's coming up. Yeah, I felt like I was about to buckle up like I'm on a ride.
Ah,
So so that's interesting. It didn't feel like a car ride or so. It just felt like I was in something that's transporting. So everyone be present and imagine that you have just buckled up on a ride. And as we know anything about rides, especially at amusement parks or so, you never know exactly what's going to take place on this ride, even though you've probably seen it in action or so. But if you've never experienced it before, you have no clue. Am I
yeah.
going to go up a slope and drop down? Am I going to scream to the top of my lungs? What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
So entering into the heart space, this is how we're buckling up and have no clue. But yet we're here for the ride because there's something about the thrill of this experience that we know we're going to discover something else about ourselves, how fearful we are, how courageous we are. But we know once we buckle up and the ride starts, we have to allow the ride to finish out. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. And again, the heart is our most delicate center
It really
of
is.
the chakra system. It is the one that is so easily damaged. And
Mhm.
many of us have put huge protection around that. So it's
Right.
kind of funny that courage has been coming up off and on
Yeah.
through this
Yeah.
discussion. If
Mhm.
ever it's needed, it is to
It
open the
is.
heart.
You're absolutely
Get on
right.
that ride
So
and take it
yes,
wherever it leads us.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
let's do that. And so Brenda Lynn, I'm going to invite you I'm going to invite everyone else to take 3 nice deep breaths. But Brenda Lynn, I'm going to invite you to actually take 5 deep breaths and then pause and take the 6th deep breath and extend that. And once you extend it as much as you can, then there's going to be some awareness on that exhale. And then when you speak that, I will move forward in terms of what this is for you and also everyone else.
So
So
three
everyone,
deep breaths.
yeah, everyone take 3 nice deep
Yeah.
breaths, and then you're going to actually
5.
take 5 and then pause and take a 6th one, and then hold that 6th breath until you can, and then release it. And we'll see
Okay.
what comes out.
All right.
Okay, let's do that now.
Oh, wow.
Mm. Okay, so just be present in that exhalation, and if there's some wisdom or insight or so that comes up, then you communicate that, and it will transport us into this sixth realm experience.
It's funny you say transport, because what came up was the slingshot.
Yeah, again, okay, yes.
Yeah. So
The
on that
slingshot again for
exhalation,
you.
when I
Mhm.
inhaled that sixth breath and held it, it was like pulling the slingshot back, and I held it there. And then when I exhaled, it was the release of the slingshot. And I
Oh,
ended up in a whole different
reality, basically.
place.
Okay, great. Awesome. So with that awareness, as we are now transporting in a ride that is more of a slingshot type effect, right? So everyone, feel yourself being pulled back. And some of you feel pulled back in life already, or feel like you should be farther along, but understand that you're in the right place. And as you are allowing yourself to go back, you're understanding that there is nothing that you've really missed that is going to be worth crying over, because what's ahead of you contains more of what you were designed and created for. So as you keep pulling back, keep expanding yourself back until you can't feel yourself go back anymore. It's like if you try to pull yourself back again, you know your heels are going to slip or so. And but you're not going to fall out of the slingshot. So it's interesting because as this imagery, even in my mind's eye, it's still it's interesting as the going back, it's still within that ride, whether you want to call it amusement park ride or so, that's going to start moving.
It's just that you don't have the safety of the seatbelt. Your safety comes in
Yes.
from that internal balance.
Right, exactly. And knowing that you're in control in the sense of the guidance in a sense. And so we're not releasing just yet. We're holding. There's something in that holding pattern, that holding space, and the heart chakra in this dimension has an individual message, but it also has a collective message
Oh,
embodied.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
I see in the holding
go ahead.
there is the crumbling of that suit of armor around my heart.
Oh, wow.
So as I'm holding, it's just like the whole thing is the suit of armor, not the heart, but the suit of armor that I have put in place to protect myself is just crumbling,
It's
just
crumbling.
disappearing.
So as it's
in the holding of that. And I think that that's what frees me up to release.
Yes, I was gonna say, and as it's disappearing, what do you get that sense of? What is it? Is this the sense of freedom, or what is?
I would say safety.
Yes.
I think the freedom will come with the release. But as I'm sitting there, and that suit of armor is crumbling, I realized that it was more of a hindrance than it was a help. And there's that feeling of just that natural safety of being centered in who I am.
Yes. In this new encounter with yourself at this level.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a deep breath, everyone. All right. So now here's where the courageousness comes in, because it's time to release. But before we do, we're going to be a little bit more present in this heart space, in this heart chakra, because there's a word or an essence, a sense of something that you'll get. And when you get that sense of something, release yourself. Take a deep breath. And Brenda Lynn, when your awareness comes and insight,
What came to me is the freedom to soar.
there you go. Nice, nice, nice.
It's like soaring with the eagles.
Yes, yes.
Eagle
Perfect.
energy, but the freedom was, yeah.
So feel yourself soaring in that release. Feel yourself soaring in that release. Not necessarily landing anywhere just yet, but just allowing yourself. And what's coming up for you as that soaring is taking place.
You know, I know that it's my choice when I land, but it's almost like looking at that 30,000-foot view of the world of my life and being able to choose where I want to land.
Courageously choosing.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to be still in that space as decisions are possibly being made, and everyone else, whatever came up for you, as you are in that space of release, just be present, because your heart chakra will continue to reveal to you something more about you and something more about the heartbeat, the true heartbeat and true nature of who you are now, because who you are now is more important than who you've been, because where you're landing for whatever phase it is going to require the you of you now versus the you of you before. So allow that heart space to communicate that. This is, again, 6th dimension communication from your heart chakra. And as some of you are still in that space of releasing, but yet not landing, a whole array of colors may come up for you, even though the green and pink is typically around the heart space, but sometimes companion energy can come in, or just the spectrum. And so if you're having the spectrum to come in and you're seeing multiple colors, that is basically announcing to you or inviting you, in a sense, that your multifacetedness is going to be required on another level. Now, for some of you, maybe who are just getting just the pink or just the green, and maybe just a few colors, you're still going to be very multi-layered in what you do, but now maybe the opportunity to be singularly focused, or focused just on one or two aspects. And the heart chakra will speak to you in terms of what those areas could be. So Brenda Lynn, I'm going to come back to you. If you haven't landed yourself yet and you're still in that energy, regardless of whether you're still in the energy or landed, what's coming up for you in terms of colors, or just a sense of what's present for you and true for you in terms of what was just communicated?
So much came through. Where I did land,
Oh, yeah,
and where I landed, it was full of other beings, but I was connected from heart to heart.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Like, through all these connections.
Yeah.
And color-wise, it was a rainbow.
There was a rainbow.
Before you said that, it was, all of the beings were different colors, like all of these light beings. Now I'm getting shivers, but it was when I shared with you when I had gone up to the 12th realm, to the 12th dimension. It was like that. It was like these beautiful beings all connected heart to heart, but they were all different colors.
Just
very transparent. So what came through to me was the rainbow. Like,
yes.
oh, this is a rainbow of colors. And that's what I saw at that point.
So that lets you know that there's the different multifacetednesses of your prism of who you are that need to come forth. But there's a heart-centered message. And because you had so many different beings, and when she's mentioning beings, these are basically just the formats of possibilities within individualities that will be present within her experience.
Yeah, they weren't well defined. Like they weren't
right.
like,
they weren't well
oh, here's
defined.
AliNICOLE and here's
right,
so
exactly. Right.
It
right,
was like
exactly.
a form of a being.
Right. And because you haven't encountered these yet, individuals or different things, it's like being in an unknown, and you know that there are going to be people where you are, where you go, but because you're not familiar with them yet, they haven't taken on a formality. And so the reason why that's important, just in a practical level, to explain to others, so that they're not, if they're having something like that or listening, they're not weirded out, thinking that, oh my gosh, little beings and different things are coming, it's like, no, that's not what, in this tech context, it's not what it's representing, not even as like guides or anything like that. It's really representing what is, that there's going to be communities of people that she's going to be connected to, because notice what she said, heart to heart. Okay. So beings, heart to heart. It's a very heart-centered, mission-oriented type of experience. But these unknown formats, these unknown people, and they're just unknown. So she's not aware of them. But guess what? She will be coming in contact with them, because this is what's going to make up the network of this next level. So going back to what was expressed earlier in terms of this new encounter with the energy body, the new encounter with life itself, this is how all of this is beaming and broadcasting, because it's heart-centered communication coming forth. So on that note, Brenda Lynn, let me be present with you again. I'm going to invite you to actually put one hand in your heart center, and then put one in the solar plexus area. Okay, take a deep breath, please. And so what is ready to be revealed?
The vision that I got was of this braid coming from the solar plexus. So all of those different aspects of myself weaving, just braiding together as it moves up into that heart space that, where I landed with the other beings. So it was drawing all aspects of myself up into that higher dimension.
Okay, so on that awareness, I want you to picture, and I don't know where it will show up for you. It could be at the end of the braid, it could be in the middle, it could be at the top. Imagine a prism and see all of the colors there. And what do they communicate to you wherever it shows up?
It's showing up at the very top.
Okay.
And it is representing all of the different dimensions of my being.
Yes.
All of the skills, all of the values, all of the strengths and weaknesses that I have, all coming together to form that element of me in that heart-centered space.
Yes, absolutely.
That makes sense. It's hard to put a vision into words.
No, it makes perfect sense to me, because what that is representing is that it is the expanded ascension, in a sense, and that's what people are going to be coming up. Those different braided aspects, the different strands, they'll find their way up into that higher connection through what it is that you're offering. And so that's why for you, this new adventure is about serving in the higher space that's unfamiliar to you, and allowing the adventure, the now that you've landed, in a sense, the roller coaster ride, the slingshot, going back, being in this context of yourself, is the new encounter with you in a whole nother level of your leadership, and allowing others to be drawn up in there. So you're not reaching back to anyone. You are continuing to excel and evolve, and then others are leading themselves into that higher connection. So you're leaving a trail in a sense as you are just going on doing your own thing in terms of what the next guidance steps are, and allowing other people, again, to be responsible to connect with that and be able to find their way. But what
I love, I just
Go
have to
ahead.
tell you what popped into my mind. I love what you're saying because I see people climbing that
Yes.
braid, climbing
Uh-huh.
that rope
Right.
up. So that's what assists them in elevating into this
Absolutely.
higher dimension, is following that braided
Uh-huh.
rope up to
Yes.
the higher dimension. So yeah, so you're bang
Beautiful
on. Thank
imagery.
you.
That is exactly what it is that they are climbing, they are elevating themselves. And what happens is that your connection with others from the heart to heart is really the heart levels on so many different levels found within that experience, within that context. But those whom you'll be serving with in this higher, capacity of the work
Yeah.
are ones too who are allowing themselves to continue to expand and evolve so that others can do the same, whether they have the braid
Yeah.
analogy or not. It's just whatever they're leaving. I don't even like to say leaving behind. It is just, it's just the continuation, but
Yeah.
other
Whatever's
people.
evolving for them, whatever aspects of
Absolutely.
themselves are evolving.
Yes. So it's like
Yeah.
mission-minded energies that,
Yeah.
are together. And so let me be present here because there's something else. And I feel this is going to conclude soon. But there's something here collectively, for a focus for everyone, because everyone will be having their own unique experience with this experience. So everyone be present with this level of the heart chakra energy. And so I'm getting a clockwise type of vibration. So let me be and then a counterclockwise. So basically this is about the timings in which you do things, and understanding that everything is not linear. And some of you are already very much over prepared and have cross prepared in multiple areas, and you need to be present with that experience so that you are moving in your gifts in synchronicity at the right times, or you're moving in terms of what your next life move needs to be. So be present with the communication, and maybe just the energy and the essence of this heart. And Brenda Lynn, if you get a kind of a collective message or an individual message that I can trigger off of, jump off of too, if something comes up, definitely share it, please.
There's such a power in the center. What I saw from those connections was almost like lightning bolts going through them, energizing from one person to the next person to the next person. And just that power of the unity.
Yes, yeah.
Of the people involved there, is what will serve to elevate all of humanity.
Yes, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And on that note, the collective communication that's coming forth even from that I can expand and expound upon is when everyone does their individual work, it is evolving the collective perspective. And so your world mission, if you want to call it that, is earlier when entering in this was the call to well-beingness. So when you are making your well-beingness the highest priority, that is going to ripple out to every area of your life. And so when you are in your highest form of optimum living, optimum well-being, just think about the greater impact that you will have on this world, starting with your own world. If your health is in order, your finances are in order, your mental faculties are in order. So when you're serving in your life's purpose, then what will happen is that every area that you have shored up comes into this cohesive functionality. And then that's how you are improving not just the quality of your life, but the whole world in general. So don't just think of your life's mission, or just in terms of, oh, it's this occupation, it's this vocation. The call to well-beingness is to shore up the wholeness of who you are. And then from the place of wholeness is how you are able to function from your life to serve. You'll be called to these different aspects, but everything that you're called to is going to be something around the well-beingness. So it doesn't matter whether it's in business, whether it's in leadership, whether it is just walking your dog, or feeding a goldfish, or cracking an egg open in a pan and bringing purpose to it. Whatever it is that you're broadcasting well-beingness because you've answered the courageous call to it. So, so as we get ready to conclude this guidance here, I do feel that there is one more element, but it's not in the sixth realm. So where we're going to transport quickly, and you can just imagine yourself kind of dropping down like an elevator as is descending in a sense. We're coming into the second dimension here in the heart chakra. And so as we are entering into this, I want you to really imagine the color green, to be really present in there, because that the context of this is it's multidimensional, but it's multidimensional of the same color. You may see some other colors come in, but the dominant one that the focus is on the green. So there is some type of imagery that you should get, even if it's not words or something that you hear. Something will come to mind, and whatever that is going to be kind of that jump off for what you need to do, or have a focus on, as we start to kind of come back into the neutral reality, in a sense. And it doesn't matter what it is. They could be a piece of green popcorn. It could be green eggs and ham, Sam I am. It doesn't matter. But it will be something. And yeah, you can get expanded awareness around that. So take a deep breath, everyone, and be there for that experience. And then Brenda Lynn, when you're ready, we'll come back to space here.
Okay. You want me to share the image I got?
Yes.
The green came through as foliage, just leaves and vines and stuff. And then from that came a pink flower that came up in the shape of a heart.
Oh, wow.
And almost like a tulip, like it came up like a tulip, but it really formed itself like a heart in pink. So,
oh, nice.
And it was almost like that heart opened, like the tulip kind of, as it bloomed.
It bloomed.
It opened. And the significance for me was the opening of hearts.
Absolutely. Yes. And as you are connecting more, because vines symbolize a lot of connection and intertwining. So as you are integrating and intertwining yourself with others, you're going to be a heart opener, but also having your heart opened even more. So that it makes perfect sense of why that armor had to come off prior.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
So that this new encounter, for what's going to be expanding, allows you to know that, yes, you are here to not just bring new heart transfusions, in a sense, to others, But yes, opening them up into different dimensions of their heart understanding and allowing yourself as you're doing it to receive the openness of your own experience. So take a very nice deep belly breath on that, and I'm going to invite everyone else to do the same. Okay. All right. Well, that was a going into another dimension, or dimensions, we should say, of just the heart chakra. And that's how you've had a new encounter today with your energy body. And I would invite you that whatever came up for you in terms of the imagery and just this entire experience, continue to be present with it because it's very layered, and you could definitely receive different levels of the wisdom and the insights around just what came up and the expanded awareness around it, and then the now and next level comprehensions just based on the experience. And then what will happen from there is ultimately you're going to take your next best steps in terms of what do you do with this now, and now how do you have this new encounter with well-being and continue to play that out, because you've answered a calling today by stepping into this new space with yourself just through the energy body practice. And so being present more with your energy body is just going to give you the more expansiveness that you need to evolve. And this will play out in very practical levels, practical ways in your everyday life. So Brenda Lynn, what was this experience like for you? Just entering into, I mean, you've been sharing with us, but now that it's kind of included, well, what is your sense around everything?
I still feel like I'm up in that realm.
Yeah, that's good.
I just feel my whole being feels lighter.
Yes.
Feels like I'm floating, and the heart feels wide open and safe.
Wonderful. It's great. Yes, drink some water. You need some water after that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Encourage everyone.
I feel it right here.
To make sure that you actually do hydrate yourself, after this experience, because you actually have traveled.
Yeah.
And there has been some energy exerted to a certain extent, from this. But anytime you're doing any type of energy work or DIY type of work, you really need to hydrate yourself. It's best to be hydrated already, but definitely after, you definitely, need to do that. It's just great for
like a workout.
Yeah, it really is a very gentle. And that's why even when they call the energy body the subtle energy body, it's subtle, yet it's so significant. And so there's activity that's going on that may seem like, oh, it's just really kind of seamless or really subtle. You don't really notice too much, but trust me, there's a lot of activity that happens under the current.
Yeah. It's profound. Thank you very much, AliNICOLE, for another wonderful session. I can hardly wait till we move on to one of the other chakras.
Oh, yeah.
Develops. Yeah.
Well, it was good that, today, for this particular, segment, that those who have not, again, listened to some of the other segments that we've done, and those who are new, just to be able to enter into this, but those who are familiar still are having this new encounter. And that's what we want to be able to bring people into their own sacred space within themselves and be able to explore themselves anew. This puts a whole nother spin and 10x on 10 or 20x on where they talk about self-awareness and being aware of self. Do you even really know what that is? You feel like you've known a part of it, but when you actually start getting into these new adventures and layers and dimensions of yourself, it blows what you've known before out of the water and puts you in a completely different stratosphere of potential within yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
with that, we'll close off and see you next time.
Yes.
Thanks again, AliNICOLE. It was an incredible experience.
Well, thank you. And best wishes to everyone. And as Brenda Lynn said, we will see you in the next episode.